Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's a man's game this weekend, boy. Oh my! Listen, I want to start off with the intro to tell Stunner, hold that lame ass nigga. Daniel, you holding this one too. It's finna be 0 degrees in Buffalo. And we're not playing in no dome. They're not bringing out no fake grass. It's finna be 0 degrees wind chill. This is how God intended the sport to be played. And then listen, I feel vindicated because it's gonna be the best game of the decade, and God made sure it was cold. He made sure it was gonna be 0 degrees.
All right, hey, I'm so iffy on that. Should every stadium have a retractable roof, or should football be played outside? I'm so iffy on that. Some days I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. If this game is 10-3 and Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball, I will never, ever think that football should be played outside. But
if he throw the pass and the wind just take it a little bit too far.
But it's like it said, it's supposed to be 8 to 12 degrees, and it's supposed to feel like 0. Yeah. So it's going to be freezing cold out there, but the wind isn't that bad. It's about 8 to 12 miles on the wind.
Slight breeze.
So that's really what matters in the cold. It's like you can deal with the cold, especially as you warm up. They be out on the field 3-4 hours before the game. Right. Everything gets heated on the bench. Those coats are heated, got heat warmers in them and everything. So they're going to be warm. It's the wind that really be killing you. So the wind not being a big factor is going to play a huge role.
And let's just get into it. I led with the weather because I feel like, we're both going to pick the game the same way, so we're just going to talk about the game and our two perspectives. But the reason I'm picking the Ravens is everything you said about the weather is true, that they won't really feel it until Big 22 step on that field.
Hello.
Because listen, everything feel the same until you got to hit Derrick Henry.
Hello.
Until you got to keep hitting Derrick Henry.
Hello.
And I think Derrick Henry, King Henry, as he's known, will be the difference in this game.
I completely agree. So I will start. We obviously are both picking the Ravens. There is no doubt about that from either one of us. You know how he feel about Josh Allen, and you know how I feel about Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
So we're both picking the Ravens. We're not going to bore you with, oh, my God, the Ravens are the best team ever.
Right.
We're going to get into schematically why they're going to do that. And let's definitely start with Derrick Henry because the Bills' run defense isn't great. And the Bills' run defense isn't great, not due to a lack of experience or just being light in the ass. It's because their base formation and their base formation on defense is nickel. Yep. And if you guys don't know, nickel formation means you have 5 defensive backs on the field. Nickel 5, you get it? So you have 5 defensive backs on the field if you're in nickel formation. Yeah. And Derrick Henry is bigger than defensive linemen. So how do you think mathematically that works out when you have a 6'3", 250-pound running back that runs a 4.5 corners are trying to come up at the line of scrimmage and tackle him? Yeah. That's not going to work. And it might be okay in the first quarter. But Derrick Henry gets stronger as the game gets longer because people don't want to tackle him in the third and fourth quarter.
Business decisions. Listen, we not talk about last week too much. Patrick Queen, just know we saw you. Just know that film lived forever, Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen was like, I can dive at his legs or I can act like he's too fast.
Listen, business decisions in the playoffs is crazy, Patrick Queen.
Crazy.
But that's what Derrick Henry do. And there's an old saying in sports and competition. Fatigue makes coward of us all. Whew. It's tiring to hit Derrick Henry.
Hello.
It's tiring, to even continue on schematically why I think the Ravens running game will be too much. Exactly what you saw last game, because after you hit Derrick Henry, you got to get up and chase 8, man.
Hey, listen.
You got to get up and chase 8, baby.
Listen, and that's exactly what the game plan you saw the Ravens go into with the Steelers is exactly who the Ravens will be for the remainder of the playoffs. I want to harp back on that game real quick because I think the mentality of the Ravens are so much different than what they were last year. Yeah. Last year, it seemed they were almost surprised they were that good. Not that Lamar was that good, but that the team was that good. And when they talked about them in press conference, and I said talked about them, when they talked about themselves in the press conferences and things of that nature, it seemed like, whoa, yeah, we got this. Yeah, we're good. This is crazy. Yeah. And it seemed like a little bit of a shock that they were the best team in the NFL.
Like we've never been this good. Like Jay Flowers never been this good.
Yes, exactly. Now we're in this season, and it's like, nah, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I know exactly what we need to do. I know what I need to learn from last year. And 22 is giving them such a calm presence because you have somebody other than 8 back there that you can hand the ball to and trust 4 or 5 yards are coming no matter what. Because every game that the Ravens lose is because they are penalized, false starts, pre-snap penalties that get you behind the chains so they can't play their style. If they are able to run the ball on first or second down, or first and second down, and set the tempo of the game, you're not beating them. You're just not. The only team in the NFL that's going to beat them if they play that style is the Chiefs, which is why I will get into it next week when they win. Lamar got to be a superhero to beat them. But other than that, every other team, they're going to be able to play this ground and pound Lamar 18 to 25 attempts football. And that brings me to what I was about to say about the Steelers last week. They treated that like business as usual. Because I saw Reggie, shout out our group chat. He was like, dang, I wanted us to go all black. Nah. We ain't making this special.
Just a regular game.
It's a regular game.
We
walking into this like it's the regular season.
Yep. We gonna play it like it's the regular season.
We gonna play it like it's the regular season. Ain't no special national anthem. We ain't having Drake come perform or nothing. Foreshadowing. But
we'll circle back to that.
We are treating this as business as usual. Classic uniforms, classic colors. Come out, get the ball to Derrick Henry, 25 times, 160 rushing yards. Let's go home. And that is what you're going to see them in Buffalo do, is set the tempo with Derrick Henry, let Lamar on the first possession run 3 or 4 times, get his legs into it, get him warm, and it's going to be curtains. I just spoke about the run, and we just spoke about the run. Talk about the Bills' pass defense, because that's also a weakness from them.
So what worries me about the Bills' pass defense is, first of all, their best – probably it's going to sound weird to say this is their best player. Their best player is their nickel corner, Teron Johnson. Because, like you said, their base is their nickel. He is a full-time starter, and he's one of the best slot corners in the league.
Yes.
And the reason I say he's their best defender, if not Matt Milano, who is a friend of the show, shout out Matt Milano.
Hello.
But he has to be great all the time because they have to be in that formation. I think the combination the Ravens present for someone like Teron Johnson is going to overwhelm not only him but the rest of the secondary, because like you saw in Pittsburgh, he's going to have to scrape and fill the run. So he's going to be banging with the most physical running back of our generation and trying to tackle Lamar. But also, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are not finesse tight ends.
No.
They are not Travis Kelce tight ends. They are going to run routes, but when they are not running routes, they are going to be delivering punishment.
Yes.
It's going to be, I started this episode, it's a man's game.
Yes.
It will be a man's game this weekend. And what is kind of frustrating for Ravens opponents is, yes, you have to commit all these resources to stopping the run, but even if you don't, they're still comfortable passing anyway.
Exactly.
And the Bills just have so many holes in their defense. There's so many people that are missing. I don't think the Bills are going to be able to generate enough consistent stops to stop them. And I also think Baltimore is going to be playing with a lot of short fields.
And that was a great point. So on the pass defense, because the key to a great pass defense is having a great safety.
Right.
Most of the top pass defenses in the NFL have a top 5 to 7 safety in the league, because he's ever able to be the quarterback of the defense, and great safeties can cover an insane amount of ground very fast.
Some safeties literally can cover the entire top.
Exactly. Yeah. Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, et cetera, et
Shout out
cetera.
Devin McCourty.
So the Bills, and this brings me to my next point. They give up a lot of big plays. This year, they've given up the 5th most passes of 20 yards, the 4th most passes of 40 yards, and they have the 9th most passing touchdowns given up. Yep. That is letting me know your safety play is bad, because their corners that they use in the nickel formation are good. They're solid. Bernard Johnson, I'm slipping on the other one name, 31, Rasul Douglas. Those 3 guys, they are good corners. They're solid corners. But when you don't have great safety play and you can't rely on your safeties to always have your back as you can with Kyle Hamilton, that makes your job as a corner harder, because you're pressing a little bit more. Yeah. When that leads to pass interferences, that leads to blown coverages, that leads to in your zone getting focused on one receiver when you got another receiver coming to your zone. Things of that nature are all of the reasons that the Bills' pass defense will kind of fall apart. Yeah. And as Ish said, if by the grace of God, which no one has been able to do, but they stopped the run for the Baltimore Ravens, are Baltimore Ravens have self-inflicted wounds where they're first and 15, second and 12, and things of that nature, and they have to pass the ball. That puts them in a better position because at least you know what's coming.
Right.
But if you're getting the balanced Ravens where it's under center, play action, shotgun, fake read option into the RPO and likely flips out, and things of that nature, it's over with because you simply just don't have the personnel. So it's been real interesting this week to see people like Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd and the pundits talk about how this is an even matchup and these two teams are as even as possible and things of that nature. They're not. Right. Their offenses are both even. But the difference in the Bills' defense and the Ravens' defense is very drastic. Speak to the Ravens defense. I'll pull up the graphic real quick.
Right, and this is what I wanted to speak to of the Ravens defense is not just, of course, schematically, I feel like the Ravens defense will have an advantage because they're one of the best defenses in the league. Total scoring, third down defense, pass defense, especially since Kyle Hamilton has gone back to playing safety. We just mentioned how important safeties are to a defense, and Kyle Hamilton might be the best safety on earth right now.
Yes.
It's him and Jesse Bates fist fighting it out.
Yes.
But the effectiveness of having such a suffocating defense with Derrick Henry is you're basically the Titans AFC Championship team with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. You're a championship team without that. You are a literally championship team from defense and running the ball, but you also may have the MVP at quarterback. And what I think is going to break Buffalo, and I think this is the reason Buffalo is an underdog at home in the playoffs, is the margin for error for the Bills is minuscule. They cannot have any mistakes.
A turnover loses them the game.
Turnover loses you a game. A holding may lose you the game. Pass interference. There are so many things that have to go right for Buffalo the entire game because the Ravens are literally just better everywhere.
So, and to that point, the scoring margin versus playoff teams. So I said this last week. The Ravens are 7-3 against playoff teams.
Yeah.
7-3 against playoff teams,
the best competition,
and they're 9-3 against teams that finish with the winning records because you get to add the Bengals in there.
Right.
And the Bills are 2-3 against playoff teams.
Yeah.
But a lot of those games, like we've been speaking all week about Patrick Mahomes, not all week, I'm sorry, all year, about Patrick Mahomes and how the margin of error for them has been so small, and they're so close to winning, they're so close to losing so many games, even though they're 15-1, which is insane. But they have a plus 122 scoring margin against playoff teams. Yeah. That is 76 points higher than the next team.
Yeah,
and if you guys don't know what that means they have outscored their opponents by 122 points.
Yeah.
Which
ridiculous.
Is asinine.
Yeah.
So that is what Ish is saying when he's saying they don't have a small they have a small margin of error because this team destroys teams.
Yeah.
And the Bills know that. They played in week 4, 35-10.
Yeah.
Josh didn't play the fourth quarter because the Ravens defense is capable of stopping everything the Bills want to do. When they want to run the ball, the Ravens have had the best run defense all year. It's been number one all year. They give up 3.3 yards a carry. That's number one in the NFL.
Yep.
But their pass defense, like Ish said, once Kyle Hamilton went to safety in week 11, it drastically changed. This says since week 13, but the graphic, because it's probably not going to screen anymore, but the graphic said week 13. It was the scoring defense was first, and the total defense was third. Everything else was still first since week 11. It just looked cool with everything first, so I went week 13.
I like it too.
The Ravens' defense has been incredible. They haven't given up 20 points since week 12.
Yeah.
Like, they've been on a mission. So I just think, like, the Bills are genuinely overpowered, and the only way the Bills win this game is if Josh Allen got 450 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Listen, what Josh Allen have to do this game is legacy changing, and I think that's why this game is so important. Because as much as it is cliche to say, like, legacy game, like, this game is a fork in the road for both of these quarterbacks, no doubt about it. Someone is going to need to be Peyton Manning in the AFC. Mahomes needs a rival.
Yes.
He is on pace. He's about to win his third straight championship. He doesn't have a rival in the AFC yet.
No.
He has one rival, and Tom Brady retired. That was the only person. He beat him twice in the playoffs. Mahomes never beat him. He never been able to get him back. But right now, if he beats, and we're going to talk about this in a second, if he beats C.J. Stroud, he's beating every AFC quarterback that matters. and he's not even 32 yet. He's running the conference.
He's not 30 yet.
Like, someone is going to need to step up and be the other guy. And Josh Allen, no disrespect to the Bills fans, because, of course, y'all gonna let me know in the comments because, I hate y'all. But just not going to be Josh Allen. It'll be the MVP. It'll be the other best roster in the league. And aside from just how elite the Ravens defense is, the Bills know they're not better than the Ravens. Like, when a team beats the brakes off you like they did in week 4 and then gets better after that, there is some kind of knowledge like, oh, yeah, we know all this has to go right. So if early, like the Broncos game, you're down 7 versus the Broncos, everyone on the sideline is okay.
Chilling. You
get down 10-0 to the Ravens in the first quarter.
And it's 0 degrees.
Yeah, and niggas going to start panicking.
And now Derrick Henry get the ball 4 or 5 times a possession now.
Fam, they ran it 13 straight times versus the Steelers.
13 straight. They ran 13 straight run plays into a touchdown in the NFL against a top 10 defense.
Like what?
That's ridiculous.
That's what's so scary about the Ravens. And let me say this. Let me look in the camera when I say this. Because what if they choose to do that to you? What if they choose to do that to you? Like, what do you do then? Like, if they, like T.J. Watt, niggas be like, yeah, T.J. Watt, one of the best defenders ever. He looked terrible the entire game.
Awful.
They game planned him out of the game.
He didn't record a sack.
He didn't record anything. He didn't record anything.
Nothing.
Me and him had the same impact on that game.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, real quick, back to the Bengals. The Bills' run defense.
Yeah.
I'm pulling this graphic up for y'all to show that they are given a 4.5 yards a carry. That's 19th in the NFL. That's essentially 5 yards a carry, which means every 2 carries you're getting the first down against.
Yeah.
That is. You're not beating the Ravens giving up that. I have the games that they have against the running backs, and this is the total rushing yards for the team, not the running back specifically. I just put the running back that was starting because it's a lot of all-pros up there. And then I did give the Lions I gave them some credit against the Lions because the Lions have one of the best rushing attacks in football, and they held Jahmyr Gibbs and company to 15 carries, 38 yards, and 1 touchdown. And I don't think they can do that against Derrick Henry, but it does show they have the capability of doing it. So we have been on the Ravens, but I do think the Bills have a good team. I don't want that to be lost in this, that I think the Bills are good. I think they have the capability of winning this game, but I just think the odds are stacked against them because the Ravens, as much of a juggernaut as they were last year, it's worse this year.
Yeah, and we mentioned Kyle Hamilton coming back, that changing the outlook of the team, but probably the quietest midseason acquisition that has made a big difference in the NFL is Tre'Davious White.
Thank you.
Former Bill defender, by the way, tore his ACL, tore his Achilles, tore his ACL again, and kept playing. Let's just clap it up for that nigga making it back to the field. Still playing professional football.
That's ridiculous.
After doing all that,
after making a couple million.
After literally, I would never do anything again. Like, but bringing him to the Ravens secondary, and now what you have is Kyle Hamilton. Of course, we spoke glowingly about him, but now Marlon Humphrey, Tre'Davious White, veteran corners on the outside, which is super important, especially right now in the league because no team has great corners in the NFL.
No.
What you want is veteran corners who are going to play well, and that's what they have, and they really filled out the back half of their defense well.
And before we get into the trendy TikTok topics, what the Ravens are able to do with Marlon Humphrey is play him outside and in the nickel.
Right.
And having an all-pro level corner in the nickel is a cheat code because the middle of the field is the bread and butter for most quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Russell Wilson, it's the bread and butter for you because it's the easiest part of the field. Yeah. It's the shortest target. Like physics-wise, it's the shortest target and things of that nature.
And it gives you the most options coming out of your route. Usually.
Exactly. So the middle of the field is usually where quarterbacks make their bread and butter. Having Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, and Marlon Humphrey across the middle of your defense is crazy. Yeah. And that is what the addition of Nate Wiggins and Trey White was able to do because, like it said, Brandon Stephens is the worst corner I've ever seen in my entire life.
Shut up, Brandon Stephens.
So they're able to
you're
play.
Terrible, buddy.
they're able to play the man coverage they want. And now the Bills don't have an all-pro level receiver, Amari Cooper. This isn't 2019 anymore.
Nope.
So the Bills don't have an all-pro level receiver, and they're going to be able to play the press man coverage they want to, send the house after Josh Allen, let Roquan, our Williams, number 40, contain. He don't wear gloves, and or nothing cool, so I don't want to learn his name. Number 40 is what you will go by.
Listen, that's a nasty. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. My linebackers, I don't want you to wear no gloves. For real.
I'm okay with the no gloves if you got on tape everywhere, your fingers tape, a dark ass visor. This motherfucker got on a generic helmet with white tape on his head.
That's a little crazy. You need a little crazy at linebacker. Nigga got no sleeves, no gloves.
I need some swag on my team. No swag. But number 40, he been balling. He took over Simpson's spot, and he's been playing well, so I'll leave him alone. But the middle of their defense is just so good. It's going to be so hard for Josh Allen to attack that. And the thing is, Josh Allen, they've been talking about how well Josh Allen's decision-making has been, how smart he's been with the ball. One of those reasons is because he doesn't have a downfield threat to really push the ball down, and that's where a lot of his interceptions came from, was trying to force the ball 15, 20 yards down the field. Secondly, they are – and this is why it was so frustrating when they was like the MVP conversation was like, he has Derrick Henry. My nigga, James Cook is second in the league in touchdowns and fourth in yards. He was the driving force of that offense and let them get to everything else they want to get to, as Derrick was for the Ravens. And my point is, the Ravens are going to be able to stop the run. I will make a gentleman's bet with the person in the camera that disagrees with me and say the Ravens hold the Bills to under 100 rushing yards, and they're going to force Josh Allen to beat them. And because the Ravens' defensive line is good, the middle of the field is what it is from the defensive side, and the Bills' receivers are not great, I don't think he can do that. I think hypothetically he can, but just with the weather, with the pressure that's going to be on him, with how I think the Ravens are going to get off to a fast start and get up 7-0, 10-0 real quick, I just don't think he's going to be able to play Super Bowl from behind all game.
And this is how I'm going to wrap it up, because, of course, you've been waiting for me to talk about how Josh Allen's going to sell this game, because I say it every week, even if he doesn't sell. But I want to just, listen, we are, just to pat ourselves on the back, niggas like, why did you use the Jets Sam Darnold picture? Because he was on the way. I told you. I was trying to tell you what was going to come.
Oh, I knew exactly.
Listen, everyone's talking about Josh Allen's taking care of the ball so well. It reminds me of that homie who be on tolerance breaks. Like, oh, yeah, he was on a tolerance break because he couldn't cop no gas. He wasn't on no tolerance break. It's real easy to be on a tolerance break when you can't buy no gas. It's real easy to take care of the ball and not throw any turnovers. When it's nobody to throw to, there's no reason to do that. We now 14-0, it's 0 degrees, and Lamar already done scored a touchdown. It's a little harder to keep that control.
Exactly.
It's a little harder to do that. So I think what you're going to see, much like Sam Darnold, who was on a season-long tolerance break, Josh Allen going to hit that gas. He going to turn right back into, oh, shit, Josh Allen. And I think that's how the game ends.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. All right, real quick before we jump into music, who has the most to gain from this game?
I can't say Lamar until – does the Chiefs play before the
Yes. They play Saturday. The Texans play Saturday.
The Texans play 1 p.m. on Saturday. But I'm going to say – listen, I'm going to put it out there because we're going to say it later. Spoiler alert. I think Houston wins that game, and I'm going to say Lamar has the most to gain from this game.
I agree. I think Lamar has the most to gain from this game because if he does win this game and he does face Patrick Mahomes, spoiler alert, I do think the Chiefs are going the Texans are going to win again too. But I won't say that a lot though. but if he beats the Bills and he can stay in the playoffs, he has beat his rival, his companion as the second or third best quarterback in football, and then the best quarterback in football in Patrick Mahomes, and then go win a Super Bowl, you are talking about Lamar Jackson as a top 10 quarterback for the rest of his career now. So that is why he has the most to gain. Josh has a lot to the gain, don't get me wrong, because people are going to be like, oh, the underdog did it with the less supporting cast, and he will deserve all of that. But he doesn't have an MVP. I don't think he's going to win it this year, and I still don't think they will beat the Chiefs, and I don't think they will beat the Lions in the Super Bowl.
That's why I said I wasn't going to say Josh, because even if Josh win, I think they lose next week. The reason I go Lamar is because I think Lamar do have a chance to win the Super Bowl, as you said. And like you mentioned, I put this on Twitter. Listen, you know, it was funny. Wherever you have Aaron Rodgers, if Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl, He's right there.
Agreed.
He's right there.
Right there before, right there behind.
Yeah.
Like I got Aaron at 5, so I would have Lamar about 6 or 7 if he was the Super Bowl this year. But last one. Is this the best divisional round matchup we have gotten? And I won't say ever, but I will say, is this the best divisional round matchup of the past 15 years?
It's a Ravens-Patriots game that was really, really good. I don't know. For the NFL historians, the Ravens came out.
Let me rephrase the question. Is this the best divisional round matchup going into the game?
Oh, like just hype up. Oh, okay. Just looking forward to
going into the game. Is this the best divisional round matchup?
Man, yeah, easy. I can't remember the last time I was this excited for a game was probably Texans Chiefs. I won't say the other quarterback name.
That was a good ass game too.
Yeah, because he's a disgusting guy. But back before we found out he was a disgusting guy, I was excited to see him play Patrick Mahomes.
I was too. That's a great pick. Yeah. But I do think this is the best divisional round matchup of the past 15 years. I can't tell you the last time the second and
no. I'm wrong.
No, go ahead.
Saints Bucks.
That's a good one.
Saints Bucks in New Orleans. Third time they were playing that year. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, whoever lost, niggas thought it was going to be their last game.
Yep.
It was a lot on the line.
And it was.
Drew Brees still ain't played the game since.
Yep.
I think that is definitely, I think that was the last time I was like, can't wait to get to the team.
Because that was also the game where that was the run where he went through, what was it, Brees, Rodgers, Mahomes,
Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's ridiculous. But I am going to say yes to this question. This is the best divisional round matchup ever because these are the two second and third best quarterbacks, however you have them. They're the second and third best quarterbacks in the NFL. Not only that, they both have the same issue of we can't beat 15.
Right.
So beating each other is going to give him the hope. It's like, well, shit, if I can beat him, I think I can beat him too.
God, yeah.
So,
and on the other side of that, it's like, nigga, you can't beat him, you can't beat me.
You feel me? So that is like the thing. And on both of their sides, they're 2-2 against each other. Yeah. So this gets the winning matchup in the division series. And Lamar Jackson, the last time he played the Bills in interception, the game ended on a pick 6. Yeah. Now he had a concussion and it was freezing cold outside. And he was 23 years old, so it's okay. But
shout out that concussion. But I think just to wrap it all up, best divisional round matchup ever, possibly best Twitter playoff game ever. It'll be war on social media.
These two fan bases have been cussing each other out since week 10.
Listen, that game is in Buffalo. It'll get real January 6th if that game get crazy. Them niggas might storm the field if it get a little crazy in there.
You're going to hear slurs you have never heard before.
Stop the count if it get too crazy in Buffalo.
No cap. All right, amazing segment. I'll probably remember to say something later about it, but we'll move off of that.